what I, a lot of people have been bringing up the question of whether or not Derrick Rose should go into the Hall of Fame when he eventually retires and, calls it quits from the NBA. And I'm surprised that I've seen a lot of people say no, he shouldn't go into the Hall of Fame. And I understand the argument as to why people are saying that he shouldn't go into the Hall of Fame, because he had obviously a great level of success, but it came very early on, and it didn't last, obviously, because of injuries, mainly things that he couldn't really control. And, they just don't think that there's enough of a track record of success in terms of, I guess, looking at it as like a longevity standpoint for Derrick Rose. But my counter to that argument is that, number one, the Hall of Fame is the Basketball Hall of Fame and not the NBA Hall of Fame. So I think it would be helpful to take into account the fact that Derrick Rose had an incredible high school career playing for Simeon in Chicago. He was Illinois Mr. Basketball his senior year. When he played for Simeon, they won 120 games and only lost 12. Only lost 12 throughout the entire time he was playing for them. That's incredible. And, he went on to go play college ball at Memphis for Coach Calipari, but, he wasn't there that long. But he had a good career there for the 1 year he was there. And then, he went to the NBA, number 1 overall pick in 2008. And I feel like he really did change the NBA a lot, and for a multitude of reasons. And, but we hadn't really seen that, type of athleticism and that type of play style from a point guard before. And when Derrick Rose came into the league, it was like, this guy can jump over anybody on the court and put him on a poster. It does not matter. And, ironically, we had Russell Westbrook in that same draft class, and he, I would say Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook, in their prime were definitely very comparable players, probably more comparable as athletes, and how explosive they were. Their play styles were a little bit different from one another, but I just think it would be terrible for Derrick Rose not to go in the Hall of Fame. He's still the youngest MVP in NBA history, and I think on that sole measure, he's deserving of going into the Hall of Fame. I love Calvin Murphy, played for the Clippers and the Rockets in the 70s and 80s. 5'9" point guard from Connecticut. Amazing. And when I say Connecticut, like from Norwalk, Connecticut, did not go to UConn. And he only had one All-Star appearance in his career. He was a really good scorer. He was a really good passer. But, he still made it into the Hall of Fame. So I think, I think Derrick Rose deserves it, just based on the level of success that he had. And honestly, the trajectory that he was on, because just imagine if he never got injured. If he never got injured, I think Derrick Rose would have probably won more MVPs by now, right? And it's also incredible that he's still in the league. He's going to be 36 years old in October, right before the season starts, and he's still playing. Like, he still gets minutes. He's obviously not as effective as he was, originally, but, and he had some good years in Chicago after he came back from the injuries. He was still putting up a decent amount of points. He just never was going to be the same after that. And I think that's fair. Like, in any sport, for any athlete, on any level, it's going to be incredibly hard to come back and play the same and produce the same when so much of your play style is reliant on your athleticism, and you just blow out both of your knees. Like you're going to be out of luck at that point. And the fact that he's continued to push through it and is still, helpful to a team. He's on the Grizzlies right now. I think this is the last year of his deal going into this next season. That's incredible. That's an achievement in its own right. And I don't know, man. I just think Derrick Rose is, people are so quick to forget. And I think even though it was a 2, 3, 4 year span where he was like really on top of the world in the NBA, like that was a time. That was a time. And like those Bulls teams were incredible. Like Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Luol Deng. People give Luol Deng a bunch of shit, but like that dude was a good player. And he's sticked around in the league for a while too. Carlos Boozer. So I just feel like people are hating and not giving Derrick Rose the shine he needs. Like, have you guys not seen that TikTok trend of like ask your mans about prime Derrick Rose? Like, ask me about prime Derrick Rose and I'll go on a tangent for sure, because it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. Like, I'll still go and watch Derrick Rose highlights every now and then. Like, if I'm about to go play basketball, I'll throw on a couple of Derrick Rose highlights, get me amped up, into the game. John Wall highlights, Russell Westbrook highlights. But like, honestly, I feel like if it wasn't for Derrick Rose, like a lot of the point guards that we see today wouldn't play the same way they do. Like, I honestly think John Wall tried to emulate Derrick Rose a ton. And I think he's even said that before. Like, that's why he wanted to go to Kentucky, was because, like, look at John Calipari and, how he helped Derrick Rose do super well at Memphis and get drafted number 1 overall. And then John Wall was like, I want to go play for Coach Cal because look what he did for Derrick Rose. So I think it's more than just, like, the numbers and all of that. I think it's about how important Derrick Rose is to the city of Chicago, him being this like hometown hero, growing up there and playing basketball at Simeon and, getting drafted by the Bulls number 1 overall. Like, that's an incredible story. And he still gives back to the community in Chicago. And that's just like the type of guy that he is. And I think all those little things matter a lot when evaluating if someone deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And in my mind, I don't know. I feel like it would be bad. It would make me feel bad if he did not get inducted into the Hall of Fame. So, you guys let me know what you think. Obviously, I love Derrick Rose. Big part of, my hoop dreams as a child, just watching Derrick Rose just yam on motherfuckers like it was nobody's business. And, to hear people, here we are, it's been like 10 years. He won MVP 2011. Yeah, wow, it's been 13 years. So it's been a little bit longer, but, still, if you were watching basketball at that time, you can't forget how amazing Derrick Rose was. And, again, do we have, Ja Morant being as successful as he is in the league without someone like Derrick Rose, coming around and setting the stage, right? So I think he deserves it. I think he deserves to be in the Hall.